Welcome, I'm Nicole Sierra and I am a Virgo, and today's video is going to be talking about all the shows that I have binged watched on Netflix. So these are my recommendations of everything that I stuck through all of the seasons, every single episode, and there is 50 shows that I have watched on Netflix that I thought were binge worthy. I will start with those that I was least impressed with, more at the bottom of the list, but like there is no particular order. But if you think that I should rank like my top 10 or a certain number that can be more doable than 50, I will definitely follow up with something like that. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of them are just at the bottom because they're what I recently watched. So number 50, I have Sex Education. This is what I've last recently watched on Netflix and I really did enjoy it. Number 49, I have Outer Banks. This was again a recommendation that I had from my sorority sisters and I did really like it. I binged it probably in like a span of 2 days. This was something that I watched more recently as well. Number 48, I have Dead to Me. Oh my god, this show, I loved it so much. It only has 2 seasons, but it was so good. It's like a funny type of show, and it also has like those twists and turns where you're just like mind blown, but like still really funny. I really enjoyed Dead to Me a lot. 47, I have the Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich documentary series. This one was definitely trigger warning for sure, but such a good series to like open your mind to things that like you maybe didn't know was going on in the world. I think they did a really good job at making this series definitely a binge worthy series. 46, Lock and Key. Me and Kevin watched this one together. It was super cool. It really reminded me a lot of Umbrella Academy, which leads me to number 45 would be the Umbrella Academy. This is coming out at the end of this month, I think June 30th, so possibly tomorrow as far as when I'm filming it. I don't know when I'll upload, but Umbrella Academy finally is releasing their new season. I'm so excited for it. I'm gonna binge that for sure again, just like how I binged the last seasons. 44, I have Glow Up. This one I wasn't impressed with. It was just like something to watch and like I wanted to see the makeup looks, so it's basically like a makeup competition type of show, but it was like okay, it wasn't anything spectacular. 43, The People versus O.J. Simpson. Things that are based off of real life, so I really found it interesting, but versus like other shows, I'm sure you probably wouldn't choose it, but I still binged it, you best believe. 42, Abducted in Plain Sight. I don't think there's anything that frustrated me more than watching Abducted in Plain Sight. Again, this is something that has to do with like a real life story. I guess you can say like true crime, but it's like involving a young girl and her parents, and they kind of interview the parents now based on like what happened in the past, and it's just completely ridiculous. It's just really sad and just crazy. So at 41, I have The Assassination of Gianni Versace. This one I also really like. It's a true crime series, so it's like actors are playing this. There is no like real live witnesses or anything like that. It's just more of like the storytelling of exactly what happened, but I did really like it. Then at 40, I put down The Tiger King. I binged it just like at the same time that everybody else did during quarantine, and I really liked it. I thought it was interesting, it was funny, especially at that time there was nothing else on Netflix that I wanted to watch, so I thought it was like a really good thing to fill my time with. 39, I have Young and Hungry. This was a series that I was super into at the beginning, and then after a while I just kind of was like, okay, I want to finish it because I started it, but oh my gosh, this one was really good in my opinion. At 38, I put The Pharmacist. So I love The Pharmacist, was obsessed with it, very much binged that. 37 was Love is Blind. This was another show that went crazy during quarantine. Love is Blind era seems like it was so long ago, but I really enjoyed it. It was a lot more fun, I feel like, binging it while others were binging it, so you'd go on Twitter and be like, or talk to everyone about it, but still, I would recommend that. It's really, like, interesting. 36, I have Don't Fuck with Cats. This one was more pre-quarantine, but also kind of went viral. I would say, like, if you don't like animal abuse, I mean, who does, right? But, like, if you're sensitive to, like, animal abuse, or you might be, like, not a fan for sure of this one, but it's definitely, like, kind of a mystery type of, like, show. But I watched it with also Kevin, and we enjoyed it for the most part. It got crazy, though. It went from, like, one thing to another, and you're just like, oh shit. At 35, I have The Trials of Gabriel Fernandez. This again, very big trigger warning. This has to do with like child abuse, and it is actually based on a true story of Gabriel Fernandez, and it has to do with both of his parents, and I think that it was a really good series. 34, I have On My Block. This was a show that I was super into, like the first, I feel like they have 3 seasons now, or 4, I'm not sure. But the first few seasons I was really into it, and I liked it a lot. And then at the end I was kind of like not as captivated by it. 33, I have The Office. I binged The Office, and I was always one of those people that was like, oh, The Office, like, I don't even know what that is. It doesn't seem like my type of humor. I feel like that's just like a not me type of show that I would think is funny. But it's like I watched it just to watch it, so I like gave it a chance, you know? And eventually, like, once I understood the humor, I got it, and like then it was funny. I'm not like a diehard Office fan like I know many people are, but I did like it a lot. It's funny if you give it a chance, I would say. Above The Office, I have Parks and Rec, and what I did was watch Parks and Rec first and then The Office, because then I kind of was introduced to Parks and Rec. I like certain things about both, but I feel like if you're not used to that type of humor or shows like that and you think you wouldn't like them, then I would say watch Parks and Rec first and then try The Office. But Parks and Rec is really funny too, and I really actually did enjoy it. And it was like a show where I watched it and I felt so sad and empty afterwards, like what am I gonna do with my life? At 31, I have down The Good Place. The Good Place is kind of like a very lighthearted, funny show, like a feel-good show. It's like something, it has 2 seasons, so if you're looking for something along those lines, like something you don't want to commit a lot of time to since it only has 2 seasons, I would recommend The Good Place. It's kind of cute, it's kind of like a nice happy show. Number 30, I have The Stranger. The Stranger I found to be surprisingly very captivating, and it is a show that doesn't have a lot of seasons, so if you're looking for a low commitment show that's kind of like mysterious, I would recommend The Stranger. 29, Orange is the New Black. This of course was like, for me, the big craze that involved me with binge watching shows was Orange is the New Black. You know, it's a classic, need I say less. The last few seasons got a little boring. I was just like, okay, come on, like let's get on with the riot thing and whatever, like, but eventually, like, overall I was so sad when it ended, but also like happy because it was like, okay, it ended. 28, an amazing show, blew me out of the water, especially like I'm Mexican, so I was like, my heart is so happy. It's called Gentified, and it's basically, I guess you can say, about like a family-based show, and it has a lot to do with like gentrification within the neighborhood, but it's also like kind of funny, but a very cute show. Very, very, very cute. So definitely recommend. 27, Portlandia. Portlandia is hilarious in my opinion because it's like so over the top, trying to be funny and kind of like, I don't even know what the word is, like I want to say raunchy, but not really raunchy. It's just like very like an abrasive type of humor. It's based off of like Portland, Oregon, and like they're known for being like eccentric or kind of strange and things like that. Realistically, it only has like about like 2 main actors, and like they play different characters, but it's super funny and I loved it so much. 26, I have How I Met Your Mother. You know, this is an old show, and like this is me watching it now in today's days, and like I was hooked. I was so obsessed with it. It's been a while, so like I can't explain it fully, but all I know is that I was super obsessed with it and I was really sad when it ended, so I was like really binging and loving that show. 25, Queen Gossip Girl. That was a show that I watched in high school, and I think that if you're in high school you should definitely watch it while you're in high school. It just makes it like that much more relatable because it's like super dramatic. So Gossip Girl, top tier, definitely a classic. Number 24 is Parenthood. Parenthood is like, ooh, it's one of those shows where it's like family and drama and a series like that where you're super invested into it. It's basically about like these grandparents and all of their children, and like all those their children get married and have kids and stuff like that, and about each of their lives, but like in a very like a drama type of show, but very family oriented obviously. But oh, I loved it. It was so good. If you're especially into those types of shows like that, 10 out of 10. I was absolutely obsessed. 23, we have the Carrie Diaries. This is a show that you'll get addicted to, but then be really sad that they never continued the show and it only had like a couple of seasons. But definitely a must watch. A very female, strong, centered lead type of show. And especially if you're into like fashion and things like that, the Carrie Diaries will steal your heart. Number 22, Lucifer. I was strangely obsessed with Lucifer. At first I was just like, oh, like it doesn't sound like anything I would like. Sounds kind of weird, but it's like kind of like a criminal like investigation, let's solve these cases with a twist of like drama woven within it, with a twist of like the fact that they're involving like he's actually really the devil and like there's angels in the show, and like it sounds like it doesn't mesh well, but it meshes well, and it's actually like a pretty cute show to watch, and it's like a show that you get like warmed up to as you watch it. 21, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Oh my god, this show I was obsessed with. I got recommended to it by a lot of people, but it really took a few girls to tell me like, oh, I think you'd really like this, for me to find out that I really, really liked it. So basically it's about a show about witches, and like it has to do with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but like with a twist and a new type of storyline. So good. Definitely recommend. 20, Jane the Virgin. I love Jane the Virgin. I don't know, the show really got to me because like I love the family aspect of it, and it's like a modern novella, and I really liked it a lot, and I was kind of sad that it ended. 19, Black Mirror. If you have not watched Black Mirror, there is no time or place better to watch Black Mirror. It's like always like a good show to like start. It's a mind show. Like it'll mess with your mind, and if I love things like that, and if you love things like that and you haven't watched Black Mirror, you definitely need to. 18, a hilarious girl show, Good Girls. You have to watch Good Girls. It's so funny. The actresses, I think they're so perfect for the roles. 3 moms. They're off. 2 of them are sisters. One's like a long lifetime friend, and they decide to rob a bank. Hilarious. You definitely need to watch it. 17. This show does not get enough credit, but I will recommend this show till the day I die. Queen of the South. It is so crazy good. Out of all the drug type, it's like, you know, like cartel, drug shows, things like that. Out of all the ones that I've watched, I like Queen of the South better than Narcos Mexico, although like it was so good. This last season of Narcos Mexico could have put me to sleep. But Queen of the South, action has your attention, twists, turns. You're literally like so invested into this show. It's so good. Queen of the South, 10 out of 10, A+. 16, Riverdale. I was never one to like Riverdale, and then I hopped on the train really late, but I'm glad I hopped on the train. Need I say less? 10 out of 10 show. There is some parts where you're just like, what is going on? But most of the time, it's a really good drama, twist and turn type of mystery type show. I really love the characters. Like, you will be obsessed with all the characters, maybe at different points in the show, but definitely a binge-worthy show, and they just came out with a new season, so if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend binge all 4 seasons, girl. Right now, tonight, start it tonight. 15. Now, if you listen to me, listen closely. Listen closely. The OA. The OA was recommended to me by my cousin, and she said it's so weird, but you have to have an open mind to it. And when I finally watched it, I was obsessed. It actually went trending because unfortunately they did not renew it, and so it only has like 3 seasons, or like 2, but it had like gone trending because people were so obsessed with it. And all I have to say is that it has to do with near-death experiences, and need I say less? Or is it need I say more? 14. The heartwarming Gilmore Girls show. This was again another show that I'm sure during its time that it was on was, you know, the show. But like I jumped on this train also very late in the game, but I'm so glad I did. It is such a just adorable, sweet show. It's a feel-good show. It's about a mother. It's about a mother and a daughter and their relationship, and it's so cute. And like the girl, and you see her as she grows up, and like high school and boy drama and this and that, and like school and friends and stuff like that. It's a super good show. I really liked it a lot, more than I ever thought I would. 13. A super, super cute show was End of the Fucking World. This again was something that was recommended to me, and I didn't take it serious, and eventually I was like, oh, okay, I'm bored, what should I watch? And then eventually I seen that it was like a Netflix original. A Netflix original tends to be like stuff that ends up being at the top of my list. For some reason, they are killing it, and this was one of the shows that definitely did it for me. Number 12, again, another like feel-good, heartwarming show, Atypical. It is about a boy named Sam Gardner, and he is a teen on the autism spectrum. This show on Netflix is like, oh my god, I am so glad that they made it in the first place. I'm so glad that I watched it, and I think that this should be at the top of your list to watch because it is such a sweet, another family oriented, has drama in it type of show. But 11, I know so many fans out there, this show you have to be real committed to it, but doesn't take much to commit because it's such a good show, is Criminal Minds. It's just a classic and it is a good show that people talk about so much for good reasons. I was addicted. Eventually I had to take a break because I was literally like constantly like, oh, what is that? Or thinking of all these things that possibly go wrong. But Criminal Minds. Number 10, Schitts Creek. I watched this show and I feel like I watched it when no one else was really talking much about it, and I started to see that now people are talking about Schitts Creek more often, like that they love it. It's so funny. It is so funny. The characters are like hilarious. The mom, the sister, the brother, like it is just like a funny show. It's basically about a family who is very well off, very rich, and they'd be like, you know, very fancy, and they lose all their money. They get evicted from their home, and the only thing they have left, it was the motel that they bought, but it was as a joke in a town named Schitts Creek for like the son's birthday or something like that, but they bought it as a joke, and now this is the only thing that they have left. So they have to go move to this little town and live there and become like regular folk, and it's just like fucking hilarious. If you're looking for that type of vibe show, like a funny show, Schitts Creek for sure. Number 9, a show that I was completely, utterly obsessed with. Oh my god. How to Get Away with Murder. Wow, this show, crazy good. I don't know what took me so long to watch it. I feel like it's a show that you have to wait a little bit to get hooked, but as soon as you're hooked, like you're hooked for all the seasons, and they just came out with a new season and I cannot wait to binge that. But right now I'm finishing another show. But How to Get Away with Murder, wow, is all I have to say. Amazing. As you can tell, I really like types of like, I guess, criminal crime shows, stuff like that. Number 8, for good reason. It only has a few seasons, but Mindhunter. It's super, super good. And it only has a few seasons, so I hope they come out with more, but definitely a binge-worthy show. Number 7, Narcos Mexico. This show was a hit. I feel like I've mentioned it before earlier. The last season had me sleeping for some reason. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed the first seasons a lot. And if you like this show, Narcos Mexico, then I think that you should definitely watch Queen of the South. I think that you'll really, really like that too. Number 6, Blacklist. This was a show that I was never expecting to watch, and it's about like another like crime type of show. This is not who he is, but imagine like just one of the men on like the most wanted type of criminal. It has to do with like them kind of working with him, a drama as well intertwined. I can't describe it. I'm doing it terrible justice right now. This would be in my top 10 shows. That's all I have to say. It is so crazy good, and I was so addicted to it. This was another show where I was like super sad when it ended. A lot of seasons. This show has a lot of seasons, but definitely one of my favorite shows. Number 5, another show that I really, really liked, and I literally scream when they put out a new season. Super funny, very raunchy, big mouth. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of it. I just really like that they're like very open about topics that I feel like that we should be talking about, but they make it in a funny way. They do it in such a funny way. The characters are hilarious. So I guess it's kind of like going through puberty, and it's hilarious, but also very informative. 10 out of 10. Number 4, Stranger Things. 10 out of 10 show. Woo! Stranger Things, yes, I can't wait for the new season. I mean, there's not much I can say more than that. Amazing show. And number 3, another really good show that I really recommend would be Ozark. Ozark has like captured the hearts all across the world. I don't know about the world, maybe I'm exaggerating. But Ozark, such a good show. Again, this is more like having to do with like a drug show. It's like about an everyday family here in Illinois and in the Ozarks that has to launder money for your everyday drug cartel. And it's like super dramatic, definitely a good show. And my number 2, I have One Day at a Time. This show is so funny and talk about important topics. I feel like for me, I love things like that. It talks about different like social justice topics within the show that are like relevant, modern, important in today's times, in like a family aspect. And the family is Cuban, and you know, they talk about a lot of important things, but and the grandma, hilarious. A family show, social justice topics, and it's funny, A+. And number 1, this actually is like one of my favorite shows on Netflix ever, Grace-Frankie. If you ever ask me what show should you watch on Netflix, the first thing that stole my heart is Grace-Frankie. I will always say Grace-Frankie. To start you off, it has like a few seasons, and I feel like 5 seasons. I would wish that this show would never end, but it's about two couples, like they're older, and they're two men are business partners. They get together for dinner with their wives, and they're eating, and the two wives don't get along. They're like opposites of each other. One of them smokes weed, the other one is like very like conservative and very like kind of mean, alcoholic. She gets wild, you know, she gets wild. Their husbands are business partners, and they're like, we need to talk, blah 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 blah. They're like, we're gay and we're leaving you for each other. And then like the show goes from there, but it is about Grace and Frankie, and it's like a super amazing show. I was editing and I realized that I totally forgot. At the top of the list, like I said, it's not ranked anyways, but was Money Heist. I forgot completely about it. It's an amazing show and definitely would be in my top 10 shows if I did rank them. So for sure, binge Money Heist. That's it. Those are my 50, I'm tired, 50 shows that I have binged on Netflix. There may be like 2 shows that I possibly missed, but I was able to go to Netflix, go to settings, and view my activity. So I wrote down literally everything that I watched in there and shows that I've binged from beginning to the end. Leave me some comments on what are some shows that I have not binged that I need to binge down below. Or if not, I'm really interested in hearing out of all these shows, if you also love them, which are your favorites so that we can like just relate to each other. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want me to follow up with like a top 10 Netflix shows of all time, or follow up with one with like movies or something. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.